Hello, everybody. Keith Hernandez with Angel and Patty team, your host today. Today, I've got Faiqa here, who we're going to be talking about credit, investing, and entrepreneurship. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Listing Agent Podcast. I'm Keith Hernandez with the Angel and Patty team, your host. And today, I've got Faiqa, who is going to be giving us a little bit of insight on credit. So, Faiqa, you want to introduce yourself, tell the audience what you do?
Yeah, so my name is Faiqa, and I fix FICOs for a living. And the next question I usually get is, did you change your name to do this? And the answer is no. I was actually born with this name. I've been doing this for 20 years, and I absolutely love what I do. So Faiqa fixes FICOs.
Nice. How do you spell that?
So the way I just make it easy for everyone, I just F-I-C-A.
Nice.
That's not really how you spell it, but F-A-I-Q-A.
See, even he was interested. Nice. Okay, so how long have you been doing this for, sir?
Oh my gosh, over 20 years.
Nice. And what made you get into this?
I was VP at a bank and accidentally kind of ended up doing this. I was helping business owners getting financing, but of course, them being so busy, never really did anything I said. So then I said, why don't I just start helping people and doing this for them? That's kind of how it happened.
Mm-hmm. Nice. So you making that transition into credit. How are people's credits today? What's the average credit score?
Oh my God, I can't really say what because I see, people in 700s, I see 400s, I see 300s. Today I saw someone with low 400. Everyone is at a different credit score.
Mm-hmm.
But, just depending on where you're at, that's what's going to qualify you or not qualify you. So I'd recommend if you don't have at least over a 640 that you talk to somebody like me, like I would say ASAP, because you don't want to wait for the last minute, because credit repair sometimes doesn't just happen overnight.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Okay, cool. So with today's, obviously with buying, first-time buyers, how long of time frame do they need to prepare to fix their credits?
Everybody, again, is different.
Okay.
But on average, I would give yourself at least 6 months to a year, because keep in mind, you didn't get in this trouble overnight, and it's really not going to be that you're going to get out of it overnight.
Okay.
Some credits we can do in 30 to 90 days. It just depends. Everybody is different. Every credit report is different. Everybody's situation is different. There's no one answer to that question. I can review the report for free. There's no consultation. I could tell them right away. A lot of times they don't need to hire me, and I could just tell them what to do. And sometimes they do need my help.
I'm kind of still interested in how you started in credit. So you said you transitioned from a bank to credit, correct? How did you go about starting your own business, though, or becoming?
So I actually joined another company, and that didn't work out. So then I ended up this is basically a franchise that I'm with right now. And so they have all of our back office support they take care of, all of our paperwork, everything. But obviously I already knew about credit. I already had client base. People already knew me. So I had that, I guess, slight edge.
Okay.
Which was a blessing, So it kind of happened on accident, but it's honestly the best thing. So if anyone's thinking about doing becoming an entrepreneur, or even doing something on the side, I highly recommend it. It's the best thing I ever did.
Hey, well, you had a book of resources that you came and you took advantage of it.
Yeah. I always tell everyone, even where you're working, don't burn bridges there, because you never know where it's going to take you into your, next time or next whatever that you're planning to do. Keep those relationships and build on those relationships, because that's what really helped take my business. Even in the first month, I made more than I did as a VP at Chase. So it was a blessing.
And that's super important. Like you just said, you never know when you're going to need someone's help again.
Yeah.
Especially people that you work with.
Correct.
So tell me a little bit more about the market today. What is your take and your opinion?
Okay, so I'm not a real estate agent. I just do credit. I think people right now are a little bit scared because there's a lot of uncertainty from what I'm seeing. And interest rates are really high, so they're not sure about what to do and where things are going to be. And so that scares them. And because of that, they don't know if they should move forward with purchasing a house or not.
So for first-time buyers out there, can you give me top tips that first-time buyers need when they're preparing to buy a house. What are the top tips you can give them? If you can give us like 3 to 5 on fixing their credits.
So I would say, first of all, if you're absolutely looking to purchase a house, start on paying down your credit cards that you have
Okay.
that are revolving. Don't close or open anything at least, 6 months before you're ready to make the home purchase. So don't close any accounts. I had a client call me the other day. Oh, I just paid off my car. I'm so excited and blah, blah, blah. And I was just listening to him and I'm thinking, oh, crap. Not good, because now his scores just dropped 20 points. And of course you think, oh, I'm paying off my car. That's a good thing. But actually it's not a good thing, because now an account got closed. And if you're 3 to 6 months out and purchasing a house, you might not regain those 20 points that quickly. So, don't open or close anything. If you need to pay off a vehicle, it can be paid through escrow, which is always the best way to do it when you're signing the loan docs. Sign up for Credit Karma or any monitoring service. You don't really want to run your credit per se. I know when you apply for something, everybody wants to run your credit, but I would say have just a monitoring service set up so you can monitor your credit. Identity theft is a huge, huge thing right now. So we do offer, identity theft products, but if you're not monitoring your credit, it's possibly somebody else's. So I always say, so many times I've seen people, they're ready to purchase a house and boom, we look at their credit and somebody's already purchased a house under their name or their kid's name, because again, they weren't, monitoring their own credit. So, I love Credit Karma. Yeah, the credit scores are not 100% accurate, but what I love about it is updated weekly. Experian.com is another great one. It's free. You don't necessarily have to pay for the services, but I love some type of monitoring because you could keep track of, is somebody running my credit? What's reporting on there? Are my names even correct? Something as little as different names on there could give indication of possible identity theft. And it's huge right now. I mean, I could go in, Keith, enter your name and it'll tell me where you live, a picture of your house, and maybe even your DNA. I mean, everything is on the computer now.
That's true.
I mean, it's scary.
There's no privacy these days.
Yeah, there's not a lot of privacy. So with that, these professionals that do these kinds of things, they have access to all of this, and so any opportunity they get, they'll sell your identity or they'll misuse it in some way. And I have several people I talk to all the time have credit cards that are being paid on time, but all this debt that's added on their credit that's now not allowing them to purchase a home. So, monitoring your credit is huge, and a lot of people don't even. And looking at the inquiries, I mean, something as little as, okay, who has been recently running my credit? Have I given them authorization to run my credit? Those are probably the top ones that I would say. And, another thing is, don't pay a collection or a charge off also unless you've spoken to somebody, a professional like me, because sometimes the debt is uncollectible, and when you pay it, it'll re-age the debt and it'll restart it. So if they couldn't sue you because statute of limitations has passed, now they can, because you made a $50 payment or a $100 payment. So, I would say, reach out to a professional before you call the collection company or the creditor, and before you start admitting everything and telling them everything. You have to be careful with what you're saying to them and how you're handling the situation. And because they're notating everything and they will use it against you, So again, just speaking to a professional is very important. It's like, why would you hire an attorney to help you fight something? Because they're the professional and you're not. Correct. Same thing, like, why would I hire a real estate agent to help me purchase a home? I don't know what I'm doing. Same thing with credit. A lot of people, you go on, there's TikTok videos, there's YouTube stuff. I mean, there's a lot of information out there, but you don't really know, have these people been doing credit for 20 years like I have, maybe they're just not giving out the right information. I've seen videos where I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe, they're telling people this. They're saying, don't pay your debt. No, that's not right, because then sometimes there's lawsuits involved, and you don't want to get a lawsuit, because if you get sued, now you have bigger problems.
I'm curious. So paying off your car is bad.
Yeah, so
Or
if you're looking to purchase a house, and so everything I'm
Okay.
saying is very generic right now. Just
okay,
there's more gray here, but paying off a car if you're purchasing a house in the next 3 to 6 months or even maybe a year might not be the best thing. I've
Okay.
had lenders tell my clients to pay off their cars, and they do, and their scores will drop. So
Okay.
again, the best thing to do is pay it through escrow. So right when they're purchasing a
Gotcha.
house, they can pay it, but have the escrow company pay it. Because they will not affect the credit score that way.
Gotcha. Okay. So I guess it's based on the situation or
Yes,
whatever.
every situation. Closing, basically what happens when you pay off a vehicle or any loan for that matter is it closes the account. So when you have a closed account, that's what changes your score. And in most cases, I've seen it drop anywhere 20 to 50 points.
Oh, that's a lot too.
That's a lot.
That's a
Because
huge.
if you're at the 640, which is you just got approved and now you're not approved.
There goes your
There
purchasing
goes
power
exactly.
for sure.
Just don't make any decisions based on what you think is right because yeah, it sounds like a great idea. I'm going to get rid of my debt. Let me pay off the car. I'm going to pay this collection because they keep on calling me. That sounds like it's the right thing to do, but in most cases it's not.
And I've also heard, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard even, I know you just said to pay down your credit cards, but isn't it true you're supposed to keep your credit cards at a certain limit, the balance? Or
No.
what's your
So
thought on
what
that?
I'm going to say to that is just keep them active. That's true.
Active, okay.
Because if they're not active, which means if it's been a year, 2 years, 6 months, and I haven't used my credit card, every credit card company has a requirement on how often it needs to be used. Every credit card company has different requirements. I don't know what all of them are. Okay. So if you're not using it, they can report it inactive. That will also drop that's like an account closing basically. So that'll drop your credit score. So just keep them active, but keep them at 9%. Use them. I mean, what's the point of having a credit card? If you're not purchasing a house in the next, year and you have 30 credit cards and you're not using all of them, start getting rid of some of them. You can call me and I'll tell you which ones. I would say close the ones that were open more recently, keep the ones that have history, but you really don't need all those credit cards because what's going to happen is the company's going to close them, your scores are going to, and you don't know when that's going to happen. So if you take charge and start closing them now, you're going to hurt your credit now, but you're not purchasing anything, so it's okay. Or it also, if you're not paying attention to all those credit cards, now you become, there's a higher chance of possible fraud.
Right.
Which does happen because if you're not using your card and somebody finds out, they can start using it and they know you're not paying attention because you haven't used it for a year or whatever.
And this is such great information because it's funny. People every day don't realize how important their credit is.
Yeah.
It's super important to, work on it always. I mean, you can't really live without credit.
No. And even if you can, I mean, even people have cash, okay? There's a lot of young people that have cash. They're like, oh, we don't need credit. Here's the thing. Why would you use your own $250,000, $300,000, $450,000 or $100,000 or $1 million? Why would you use your own money if somebody else is willing to give it to you, right? Why don't you save your money and use other people's money, right?
I love that you just said that. And that, you know what? That's how people are millionaires. People are billionaires. They leverage.
Yeah.
Am I right or wrong?
Absolutely.
And credit allows you to do that.
It
allows you to buy the house, obviously. You're leveraging to buy a house, through the bank.
Exactly. Well, they could, I mean, even at 7 or 8% right now, let's just use that for example.
Okay.
So let's say, let's say I'm a millionaire and I just, some people, they're like, okay, I'm just going to pay cash. Okay, so go ahead and pay cash at 7. I'm going to save 7%. But if I kept that $1 million, how much could I really get a return on it if I started investing it professionally or had a professional, someone to help me? I mean, some of these cryptocurrencies or some of the in the stock market, some of these returns are like 20, 30%. I mean, why would I just for 7% give up $1 million when I could turn around and do something else with it?
You're right.
Right? So
Absolutely.
why not hold on to it and do something else?
Are you an investor yourself?
I am. I absolutely.
What do you invest in mainly?
Oh gosh, everything. I have certain people that I follow and then I just take their tips and I'll put some money in there. But yeah, absolutely. If you're not and you're a young, I mean, if I could, go back, I wish I would have put more money away. And everybody says that, but it's true. Because you can't, although I can't go back now. I can only go forward. But there's so much opportunity that I missed because I didn't take advantage of, because I didn't know better. So I would say to all the young people, learn from us and save, even if it's $50 a month, 100, Washington Mutual, when I used to work there, they did this, they did like this, they did I don't know what it was some kind of, study they did, and basically they recommended saving $100 a month for like 18 years, and the way it was invested, because the market does go up and down, but
Right.
Even though it goes down, it goes right back up. But they show that if you did that, if we did that for our kids, or they did it for themselves for about 18 years, they'd have close to $1 million already saved.
Oh, wow.
Depending on where they put it. I mean, $100 a month, that's like nothing. Everybody could totally do it, but nobody does it.
And I think the biggest problem, even like a lot of generations today, is everyone just likes to spend.
Yeah, I mean, but, and that's what I tell my kids. Even if you got a $500 paycheck, you put away $100, are you going to become poor? You still have $400, right?
Right.
You're still going to use like more than half of your paycheck, but you could put away a little bit. So no one's talking about putting it all away, but a little bit. It adds up. It really does.
So how old were you when you bought your first property?
I was 20, actually. And
wow. Couldn't even drink.
No.
And you know what?
Yeah, no.
That's probably where you saved all your money.
No, I actually was I was working at Good Guys.
Okay.
I was making about $6,000 a month, 4 to 6, maybe more.
Okay.
When I was 18, I was making way back, like 25 years ago. That's a lot of money. No, it was more than 25 years ago. But that's a lot of money. Even now, 4,000 to 6,000 is a lot of money, right? So imagine what it was.
That is a lot of money, actually.
And I would go and I'd blow it. I'd literally blow it on, clothes. And so one day my dad's like, where's your money? Where's your 401k? And I said, I don't have one. What is that? I didn't even know what it was. He literally slapped me across the face. He's like, why do you not know what that is? He's like, bring me your checkbook. I gave him my checkbook. He voided out a check. I was like, Dad, no. He's like, no, you're going to do this. And this is when I was 18. So then he ended up making me save, which was like the best thing my dad ever did for me. And then when I was 20, I was able to purchase my first house. So
nice.
I think, anybody can read about this. Real estate is always going to make you money. Always. You can't lose. Even in the down market in 2008 and 2007, when the market crashed, those people that let their houses go, even if they would have kept their houses today, if they didn't let it go, it would still be worth a lot more. So even when it went down, it went back up and it went back higher. There's you just absolutely cannot go wrong with real estate. I would say the only thing you need to pay attention to is, can I afford that monthly payment? And if you can, you need to buy a house or have an investment or some type of real estate.
What type of properties do you usually invest in?
Oh, I don't have a lot of properties. I have had, but I've sold them. But single family, duplex, that's what I've purchased in the past.
Do you still have the first one that you bought?
I have the first one I bought.
Really?
That's the only one I have.
What city is it in?
In Boyda Park.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So I rent it through Section 8, which is another, if a lot of people don't know what Section 8 is, in COVID, if you're renting your house and, the government said, well, you don't have to pay rent. Well, okay, great. But people that were on Section 8 or government money that was, being paid to people that were renting them out to Section 8, we still got our check, you know. So even though I'm not getting maybe as much as I could in that neighborhood, I still get a check every single month. So
can you give us some experience with the Section? Because I deal with a lot of investors and they're renting out their properties, their units, but a lot of people don't want to rent Section 8 or they're scared or I don't know. Can you give us a little bit
actually love Section 8 because the tenant has to take care of the property.
Okay.
So yeah, in some I've heard like on TikTok and stuff, they say, oh, well, Section 8 actually pays you more than what the rent is. I have not had that experience. It might be in some of the cities. I don't know. Again, I only have one, so I'm not that experienced, but I know my uncle did it and he still does it and it's very lucrative. The nice thing is the government pays you every single month on the first. The rent is never late. Never. And they have to, the tenants need to take responsibility because if they're not taking care of the property, you can complain to Section 8 and then they will either lose their Section 8 or they have to fix it. So, I mean, it's like for me, it's like a no-brainer, Section 8 is the best thing I've ever done. I've done non-Section 8 and those people have left not paid, headache after headache after headache. So Section 8 is what I believe is, I love it. And then can I talk a little bit about Airbnb.
Yeah.
Oh my
Share with
God. That
us.
is like so much money there. I think, again, these young kids, they're, these smart kids are doing all this.
Do you do Airbnb?
I had an Airbnb and I'm trying to get my permit again right now for a property but I got to tell you, it is so lucrative. It literally blew my mind. So I did Airbnb without a permit, which I didn't know I needed to have a permit, but you have to have a permit in some cities. So if you are purchasing a property, I would say, first of all, find out if you can do Airbnb. And so some cities have whole house Airbnb or partial house. So you have to know all this stuff. So if you're going to do Airbnb, know all this stuff. But it's very, very, very lucrative. So even for your people that are like on the fence about maybe should I rent or not, if city allows Airbnb, it is very, very lucrative.
What city do you have an Airbnb?
Mine in Fullerton.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But Fullerton's very strict.
Really?
Very strict. So it's been a year that I'm trying to get this done, and I hope, let's see what's going to happen now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I know that's definitely a huge, growing thing for sure for people. And it's an option, for people that don't want to do long-term tenants.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So going back to your business a little bit, what struggles do you see in today's market right now?
Just the interest rates are high, a lot of uncertainty. That's really most of what I'm seeing with that.
With your experience, just being around the market at least, I mean, where do you think interest rates will be headed?
Oh gosh, I have no idea. I really hope they, lower, but I don't think that's going to happen. I'm not sure. I really don't know. I mean, they always go up and then they come down, and do I think they're going to be at that 2.9% ever again? I don't think in my lifetime.
Yeah.
I would jump on it if I knew better, but I didn't know better at that time either. So I guess you live and learn, right?
And that's just being in the business, I guess, and just kind of seeing everyone around you for sure.
Yeah.
Is there any advice you can give to new realtors, entrepreneurs, people just in general?
I would say just try to get as much knowledge as you can, and be around. I tell my kids this every single day. I always say, choose who you're going to be around today, because you're a product of the people that you choose to be around. So if you're around 3 people or 4 people or 5 people that are losers, guess who the number 6 loser is going to be? And if you're around 5 millionaires, guess who number 6 is going to be? I tell this to my kids every day. So choose your circle.
Nice.
Wisely.
Do you read?
I do.
Do you have any books you
So
can
I'm
recommend?
reading The Slight Edge right now, and don't ask me the author because I don't know, but it's an amazing, amazing book. And so here's the other thing I make my kids do. Sometimes they listen and sometimes they don't, but I say they have to do 10 pages a day of a book that's going to help them grow.
Okay.
So that's another thing that I do for my kids.
And what's this book about?
So this one is about basically being consistent, and that's the way that you're going to have the slight edge over life, over everything, just about consistency. And a little, even though you're not seeing maybe, results right away, it talks about all the little changes that you're making. In the end, you will see. It's not going to happen overnight, but it is going to happen.
And that is such a strong word. Every entrepreneur, everyone I talk to, consistency.
Yes.
That is the word that everyone just needs to, empower, put it in their brain.
Yes,
for sure.
Because I think we all know how to be successful. I mean, I definitely know what I need to do, but I just need to do it.
Nice. What else do you tell your kids to push them to get?
So I also.
How old are your kids, by the way, if you don't mind me?
So I have a 21-year-old. He's going to be 22.
Okay.
And then I have an 18-year-old and I have a 19-year-old.
So those are prime years where they're
So another
out.
thing that I've done for my children is I have paid someone to teach them how to do day trading.
Wow. Okay.
So my son was so excited because he made $250 this morning. I was like, yay, great job. So every morning I check in to see, hey, what did you do today? He wakes up at 6 o'clock. He, does his, he makes his lines, if anyone knows what I'm talking about. If you're a day trader, you'll know. But I just think helping our children, grow is so important. And even if you have to force them, it's okay, moms. Force your kids a little,
Mm-hmm.
you know. If they don't read a book, and prayer too. Prayer is another thing. I'm like walking around the house. Did you pray today? Did you pray today? You know, so that's also like a really, big thing in my house. So that's all. I mean, I can't make my kids do anything. I tell them to do these things, and sometimes I will enforce it, and sometimes I won't. But hopefully I'm giving them, some base at least where they
Right.
can, some foundation where maybe they can build off of.
Mm-hmm. Do you believe in college?
Absolutely, they're all in college. Absolutely.
Oh, nice.
So my younger son's going to UCI coming up. He's the one that's doing he's the one that's into the day trading. Then my second son's at Cal State Fullerton. My older's at UCR.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing automobile engineering. Absolutely, college. I mean, so I do believe in college, and I think college is a great thing, but my kids are, they always tell me, we don't have to go to college. I said, don't. They said, because we don't learn anything. I said, then network. If you're not learning anything, network at least.
Networking. It's a good one.
Network. You don't have to go to college to learn, because whatever they sometimes teach you there, and some moms might not like this, but if they're teaching you about history like 200 years ago, like how is that relevant today? It's really not, right? So maybe, our school system's a little messed up, but I tell my kids, even if you're not learning, network. Build your peer, build the people that you want to be around.
Right. Awesome. And you've shared some great information today. You've definitely, I know we got a little off topic, a little personal there. But anyway, is there anything else you want to tell us just about credit in general, or, things that we should know?
I don't know.
Fun fact? Give me a fun fact.
Fun facts are, okay. Oh, here's a really fun fact. So if you recently got denied for a credit card, you don't go and apply for another one. Okay. You need to find out why you got denied. Sometimes it's such a simple thing, like maybe they were unable to identify you. Okay. And sometimes it's because you have too many inquiries already just happening. So a lot of time people think, oh, I got denied, let me go to that bank. They'll go to like 10 different banks and still get denied everywhere. So, that's one fun fact. Another fun fact is when you go for a vehicle, here's another thing that I want to say that's very, very, very important. Before I allow somebody to run my credit, so for example, if I want to purchase a vehicle and I'm going to go to, let's say, Toyota, I'm going to go to Toyota and ask Toyota first what their requirements are for me to get approved before anybody runs my credit. So if Toyota tells me, or Lexus or Mercedes or whoever, they tell me we use Experian and this is the credit score that you need to be at to get the rate that you want, I'm going to go to Experian and I'm going to make sure that that's where I'm at. Because if I'm not even there, why am I going to let anybody run my credit? So this goes for if you're looking to purchase an or get an apartment, same thing. Find out what their requirements are first. Don't let just anybody run your credit. So when you go to a dealership, the fun fact is you are applying for a vehicle, but they'll run your credit 15 times because they're trying to get you approved through anybody. But if you know where you stand, that's not going to happen, because then you could tell them, look, I only want to go through this bank, or I only want to do this.
Is it possible, because I know is it possible to get inquiries off your credit? Or?
Yes, it is.
It is. Okay. Well, it's good to know.
Yeah, so I do work with a lot of investors that hire me on a regular basis to get those inquiries off.
It's good to know for sure.
Because sometimes they don't have bad credit. They just have a bad credit score, and it's because of all those inquiries.
Gotcha. Are there other things you can get off credit scores for people?
I mean, just about anything. It just depends on, what laws we find, the story behind it, who gets our file even sometimes at the Bureau. Anything can come off, but is it going to come off? I don't have a crystal ball, and I can't guarantee that. But it just depends. Every situation's different.
All right. Well, it's good to know. I think you would be an extremely great resource to a lot of people. You want to say your name and your number so people can give you a call?
So my name is Faiqa, and I fix FICOs. My phone number is 714-612-0538.
And no, she didn't change her name to Faiqa. She was born with that name.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thanks, guys, for watching. Again, thank you, Faiqa, so much for this great information. I think it's important for everyone. I can't think of someone who, wouldn't use this information, because everyone needs credit. So overall, thank you so much for attending us today, and, hope to see you again here soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Keith.
Thanks.